Hey, hope you're all having a good day so far. Thanks for checking out the video. So yeah, I'm gonna be showing you guys a little trick I figured out for leveling up your strength and endurance in Tarkov. I showed this to my brother, I showed it to one of my friends, and neither of them had ever seen this or heard of it. I'd never heard of it until I figured it out, so I figure it's probably not that well known, and it should help you guys out. Especially if you play in PvE, like I prefer, when you're trying to level up your skills, and not having it wipe is definitely pretty nice in PvE, so getting to max strength and endurance is actually more plausible in this, and I'm sure a lot of you actually want to accomplish that if you do PvE. Whereas PvP, you know it wipes, and sure, you'll have max strength and endurance for a while, but it'll go away eventually. So enough of my yapping here. I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it with you guys. The most important thing for leveling up your strength and endurance is you want your weight right over here. Right now I'm overweight at 36.5 kilos. You want to be overweight with your bag equipped and underweight with your bag unequipped. So as you can see, I took my bag off. The number is no longer yellow, which means I'm underweight at 23.9 kilos. And if I put the bag back on, I am now back overweight. The reasoning for this is because you'll be leveling up strength and endurance in a single raid, and making sure that you can switch from one to the other by dropping your bag is very important for this. So for me, I already have my strength at max. You can see it's elite. So for me to get to that point where having my bag equipped will make me overweight, I have to have a car battery in my secure, and I try to go with a lightweight loadout, so that way when I drop my bag, I'm not still gonna be overweight. So I usually just go with some kind of joke loadout for this, you know, something where if I die, I'm not gonna be missing it. Right now I am Santa Claus. Not even using any armor, literally just a rig and a backpack with a Santa getup. So the thing I figured out about strength and endurance that I haven't heard before is there's a timer for when you can level up your skill and then hit a point where it starts to increase extremely slow and move past that slow increase. So for example, let's say I'm doing a raid and I'm leveling up my endurance. Usually in raid, once your skill hits about plus like 5.5 to plus 6, the rate it increases at is going to dramatically go down. And that leaves people thinking, okay, so the most I can really level up a skill is going to be like plus 6 around there in a raid. Well, that's just actually not true. I figured out a way around it. So, for example, you start the weight over raid with your backpack, so you're going to be leveling up your strength while you're overweight. You're going to level up your strength by simply just running around until you get your skill to about plus 5 to 5.5. Then you're going to drop your backpack, so you're now underweight, and that switches you to leveling up endurance. Now, when you switch to leveling up endurance, your strength skill is no longer going up. And if you go a certain time frame without leveling up a skill at all, like you get 0 experience in that skill for a certain amount of time, it will reset the rate it'll level up at, and you can go beyond the 6.0 limit that seems to be in a raid. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the route I figured out and how exactly I go about doing this. So yeah, you're gonna be in this raid for a very long time, so I would recommend bringing something for energy and hydration. Since my metabolism is max, I can pretty much just bring in a pack of milk like this and I'll be fine. Another thing I would suggest bringing is, if you have Red Rebel, bring that. Bring Paracord, you can have it in your special slot now, thanks to the most recent update, which is nice. Bring some kind of weapon that has a magazine that you can reload and unload the ammunition from. Let's say you sprint till you're out of stamina while you're leveling up strength, and then you have to wait for your stamina to regen. It's a really good way to pass the time to unload your mag, unload the ammo, load it back in, and reload your gun. That way you can level up your mag drills skill while you're doing this. Where's mag drills? There we go, mag drills. So yeah, that's just another little tip for you there for this. For the route I'm going to be showing you, you'll also want to bring along some rubles. So let me go into one of my money cases here. I'm just going to bring a small amount of rubles with me. Yeah, just so you can take paid extract if you end up getting that side of the map. Did I miss anything? Oh yeah, I don't know if this still applies. I haven't tested it since coming back from my break from Tarkov. I always tend to do that with games where I'll kind of like focus one game for a while, and then I'll take a break from it for a few months and then come back to it. So for a while there, I was really no-lifing Tarkov, and I took a break from it for a long time. I just started playing it again recently. This used to be the case. I don't know if it is any longer, but let's say you're in your hideout and you use the gym. Using the gym is a really good way to level up your strength and endurance, by the way, so if you haven't already crafted that, I definitely would. But your first raid after using the gym, you literally can't increase your strength or endurance. I don't know if it's still the same, but it used to be the case. So I would use the gym, and then I would just do a raid where I do whatever. Go for PvP, go for money. Just, if it is still the case where you can't increase those skills your first raid after hitting the gym, then just do something else aside from leveling up your strength and endurance for that first raid, and then you can get back to it. You know, it's only once a day you can use the gym, so that's just one raid a day after using the gym that you can't level up your skills. It's not too terrible. It's just something I noticed when I was maxing out my strength in the past. Yeah, I think we're ready to get back into it. I'm using a shotgun here because filling your backpack with shotgun ammunition is a good way to hit your weight ratio to be overweight. So it's putting me overweight with my backpack equipped, and I have all the ammo in the world for my primary weapon. Now the map I've always done this on is Shoreline. I'm positive you could do this on pretty much any map in the game. Obviously, some choices are better than others, like trying to do this on Factory or Labs, you're making a mistake. Preferably a map that has a lot of open space, and you're gonna know your way around. I never bothered to find a route for this on any other map, because the route I came up with on Shoreline just works so good. I never even had to bother finding another one. So we're going to go at daytime hours here on Shoreline. Let me make sure I have everything insured. Yes, I do. Just going to run through and double check again real quick that I'm not missing anything. Rubles for paid extract. I have my Red Rebel and Paracord. I have my hydration and energy, because we're going to be in raid for a long time. all my medical supplies. Yes, I am looking good. So there are 2 different routes on here that, from my experience on PvE, there's no way you're gonna die taking these routes. Unless you run into an enemy on your way to the location, that's the only way you should die. Once you actually reach the location where you'll be doing the strength and endurance leveling, you should be safe. I think in all the raids I did leveling up these skills, I only died 1 time, maybe twice, in location once I made it there. And they were just really oddball encounters where I think one of them I got spotted by the goons on my way and they just chased me down across the map, because you know how the goons are. They're just, if the goons see you, you're dead unless you manage to fight them off. They will chase you to the ends of the earth. Alright, we should be loading in here. We're gonna see what kind of spawn we get, and then depending on our spawn, I'll be showing you guys one of the 2 routes I like to take for leveling up my skills. Alright, we are deploying. I'm excited. I haven't done this for a while. Once I hit Elite Strength, I kind of stopped doing these, just because I figured I'd level up my endurance naturally. Okay, I know where we're at. So, we can go to one of 2 from here. Resort should be up over there somewhere, I believe. Now, the one we're going to is going to be next to a location called the Farm, which is kind of a newer location, not really. It was added in a while back. There it is, right ahead of us. There's the Farm. So we're going to loop around this way to try and avoid anything that could be there, whether it be scavs or PMCs. Keep my shotgun on semi-auto here. So right now, our character is leveling up strength, which is completely useless for us because we have elite level strength. Ooh, I have flechettes in this. I should have brought flechette. I don't know why I brought 7mm buckshot. Now, if you ever want to check your stamina, you can just do a quick little aim, and you can see it pop up in the bottom left there. So just follow this pathway I'm taking. You can see right up there is Resort, right over there is the Farm. We're going to kind of follow this path. Now, unless you get very unlucky if you're doing PvE, you'd have to get pretty unlucky to run into scavs taking this route. Like I said, out of all the routes I've done, I think I've maybe only died like twice. Right here, there is a couple duffel bag spawns that can be there if you feel like checking those. Alright, so there's some people at the farm, probably PMCs. We'll try not to be seen by them. And here it is. This is the promised land right here. So, what I like to do, I like to go from that rock. I'll run all the way up along this edge to about there. I try to time my run with when my stamina seems to run out. So, for example, I'll go up to this tree with this bush, run back around, and I will just kind of time it so that way the next time I make it back to that tree with the bush, I should be running out of stamina. Now, the stamina your character has in Raid, once you completely lower your stamina to the point where you're exhausted a few times, your max stamina will actually be permanently reduced for the rest of the raid. So right now, I made it to the tree, I'm out of stamina. I'm just going to go ahead, unload my magazine, and then reload it to level up my mag drill skill while I wait for the stamina to regen. And keep in mind, this whole time we've been leveling strength because we have our bag equipped. Now, let me show you what switching would do. So I'm already at max strength. I have no interest in that. You can see because I have been overweight this whole time, my endurance has no activity. It's +0. So I'm going to double tap Z, drop my little Santa bag by this tree where I'll always remember it. And now we're going to do some running, and we should see our endurance start to level up. And we're going to run until the endurance gets to about +5.5. You don't want to stop it too soon, otherwise you run the risk of messing up the time frame, where you have to go without increasing a skill at all. So for example, when I was running, leveling up my strength, I would have wanted to run and level that up till strength was about +5.5. And then I would drop my bag and switch to leveling up endurance. Okay, so we got one full sprint there. We're going to take a look at our skills. We can see endurance is at +3.0. So we're going to wait on our stamina to regen, and then once that's back, we can go for another sprint. And we're just going to rinse and repeat that until our endurance is looking at about +5.5. Alright, here we are, coming to the end of yet another little sprint. Let's take a look at our skill, +4.17. Alright, not bad, not bad. There can be a chance for a hidden stash in this bush here. So if you're ever doing this, you can actually, it's right here. Well, what do you know? Alright, take a grenade. I am interested in that tool set. Okay, so whenever we go to take our break from endurance, I'll pick my bag up and come back for that tool set. But yeah, I have legitimately found a LEDX in that stash, believe it or not. So definitely worth checking. Our stamina is back, so we're going to go for another sprint here. You can even do some reloading as you are doing your little sprint here. I usually like to just practice my buttons, you know. Alt-T to check my mag. I'll do L for the inspect, R to reload. Turn your tac device on and off. I just kind of do whatever, you know. I do believe reloading levels up your mag drill skill. So if you really want to min-max, you can sit here and reload the whole time you sprint. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our endurance once again. +4.8. So we're getting pretty close. As you can see, from like that first sprint or two, it went up really fast to +3. Now it's starting to slow down quite a lot. You can tell by this arrow right here. The red arrow down means that the rate you increase that skill at is going to be reduced. Whereas these other ones I haven't leveled up yet this raid still have the blue arrow. Let's go ahead and take a look at our endurance. Yep, it is back. Our stamina's back. Go for another little jog here. So once we get to that +5.5, we need to entirely cut off endurance. We can't level it up even the slightest bit for, I believe it's about 4 minutes straight. So you have to go the entire duration of roughly 4 minutes without getting any points into endurance. Oh, those are some shots back at Resort. We're just gonna ignore that. Keep doing our thing here. 5.3. Now see, you might stop at 5.3 and be okay, but I have done that before and completely ruined the time frame for strength. So I got my strength to the required amount before switching to endurance, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's basically 5.5, I should be good to switch back to strength. switched back to strength and completely screwed it over. I did it too soon, and I had to wait the full time length again of about 4 minutes before I could start leveling up strength again. So, even though we're at 5.3, I'm going to go for one more sprint, just to be safe. And then, after this sprint, we're going to entirely cut off endurance for about 4 minutes, and then when we come back to it, our level up speed should be way increased, and we can surpass the usual, like, 6.0 cap per raid. Alright. Just finished our sprint. Yep, 5.8. So, this is normally like 5.8, 6 point something. You're not going to be able to get past that. So what we're going to do now... So pay attention to this number, 16.97. We're going to pick up our bag. And now, as you can see, I go to my gear. We are back to being overweight. So, right now, we are currently not leveling up endurance at all. I'm going to go ahead and loot this tool set that we found in here earlier. I'll loot this as well. Oh yeah, a little tip. Let's say there's a piece of loot you don't want. Still make sure to grab it and then put it back, because it will give you searching and looting XP by doing that. So, I do that with literally everything, like D-batteries, T-plugs, pretty much anything I find, I'm gonna grab it and put it back just for the XP. Alright, well, while we are waiting for our time frame to elapse here, let's go ahead and check the time right now. 33:28. So I'm going to go ahead and say once we hit 29 minutes, I should be good to drop my bag and go for another run here. Let's go ahead and talk about the area around us right now. So the reason I told you to bring rubles in is because right over here in this area, I'll actually run over and show you. Right over there, there is paid extract you can actually take on this map. Which the spawn that we got on this half of the map, this is the path you want to take if you get that spawn. I'll make sure that I show you guys the other pathway you can take before I get out of this raid. But yeah, right down over here, there's some loot you can grab yourself. You could also be brave and venture into the farm itself and loot that. However, with the loadouts I bring in on these runs, you know, I'm just a little Santa. I shouldn't really be getting into combat like this. We're gonna go ahead and loot this toolbox. Ooh, big money. But yeah, right there with the light bulb, you can see I got like searching XP 20, looting XP 7. Okay. So that was strange. Some broken audio. Usual Tarkov for you. Let's take a peek and see if, yep, paid extract is there. Now, the higher your fence reputation, the cheaper paid extract is. So, like, 5k is more than enough rubles for me. We got a little bit of loot around here you can take. Alrighty. My game is haunted, in case you were wondering. I don't really know what's happening. Alright, let's keep looting. Let's just stick with the tutorial here. kind of ignore whatever is going on there. Yeah, this whole area, got some decent loot, you know? Some tool sets, whatnot. Bolts, valuable. Thought I heard a footstep there. Little on edge, not gonna lie, but it's fine. Flashlight? Oh, that's right, I have the flashlight that you can only see using night vision. Let's check our time. 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna loot up in this cabin, and then we'll head back to our running location that we were doing. Alright. Not too bad. Not too bad. Plexiglass. Yeah, I'll just take it and drop it for the XP. Not really interested in it. I thought I heard something again, dude. I think I'm just being a little paranoid from whatever the heck that weird audio was. Actually, xenomorph foam could be valuable. Okay. So, looking at our time, we're at 29 minutes left in the raid, so we should be in the clear to switch back to an endurance. So I'm going to go to my trusty tree here. Alright, so, before I drop my bag, I want you to look at my endurance skill. So it says plus 5.8. And it's currently at 16.97 out of 100. And then I'm going to take a step forward. Now look at my skill. Plus 1.0. 16.98. So, let's go for a sprint, and we'll see how the skill reacts. Now, it reset the level up progress of the skill because we went the correct amount of time without touching the skill at all. So the game is like, oh, you haven't leveled up that skill for 4 minutes. Let's go ahead and reset your timer on that so you can continue to level up that skill. I don't really know why, but hey, we're going to take full advantage of it. Because I believe if you do this strategy properly, you can get a skill increased by up to like 20-something points per raid instead of the 6 that you thought was the cap. Yep, plus 3.17, we're at 19.15 out of 100. So, we still have 27 minutes left in the raid. If I didn't have elite strength already, we would be doing the same exact thing with our strength right now, increasing both by possibly up to like 25 points a raid, which is insane. Every 100 points you earn is going to get you another level up in strength or endurance. So, getting plus 25 total in a raid instead of the plus 6 you're probably thinking was the max is huge. That is a huge difference right there. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. I'm gonna pick up my bag, and I'm gonna carry it over to our next location, so I can show you the other route that you can do this at that I found is really safe. So, give me back my Santa bag. There we go. I am now a complete Santa again. And, yeah, it's a little risky. Normally, you wouldn't move locations. You'd stay in the location you spawn closest to, and I would just stay here the whole raid, running back and forth, until I had, like, 2 minutes left, and then I would extract. So there is a good possibility of us getting seen by anybody and just being obliterated because we have no armor, but Okay, more explosions. I am not feeling good about the explosions we've been hearing this raid. So what are you guys' thoughts on Escape from Tarkov PvE? Do you like the PvE better than PvP? I know myself, I personally love the grindy aspect of games like this. I love kind of the RPG features of leveling up, increasing my skills, building up a hideout like you have. So the PvE not wiping is really a big feature for me. I really enjoy that. I liked PvP as well. I never had anything against PvP. It was definitely a lot more challenging. But I think I like the chill aspect of PvE. PvE is more for people that don't have a lot of time to play the game, I feel like. Because you're a lot less likely to die. You always get back insurance. Like, you are guaranteed to get back insurance because the AI just aren't going to loot your body. And, you don't have to stress as much. So, for someone like me that doesn't have the most time in the world to play games, not having to freak out over the PvP and only getting to do 2 raids and I died both times, losing all my stuff, you know, it's not as stressful. Alrighty, we have arrived at our other destination for increasing our skills. So this is at the very back of the swamp here. It's this little shack. It does have some pretty decent loot in it. Or it can have some loot in it. And the path I always try to take is I will go from the side of the house here, and then I will follow this left side down, and then turn around and come back. Which actually, straight down that way is an extract. I believe it's the Outskirts extract. No, Path to Lighthouse, that's the extract. Yeah, Pathway to Lighthouse is right down there, and you have that extract guaranteed every single raid. So even if you get the spawn for this, like let's say you spawn down over that way by Scav Island or something, you will always have Pathway to Lighthouse, so you don't have to worry about coming to this location, doing your sprints, and not having that extract. It'll always be right there. So yeah, let's check the time. 19. Last time I was leveling up my endurance was at 29. So it honestly, even though we didn't max it out to like the 5.5, it should reset again, because we had our backpack on this whole time. So I'm gonna drop my bag. So right now, 19.15 out of 100, plus 3.17. I'm going to take a couple steps. Yep, it reset. 19.15, 1.0. So let's do our sprints. So there's kind of this bank here. I will follow this bank. And it depends on the level of your endurance and strength, how far you'll be able to carry this run before you need to turn around. Obviously, the higher the level, the further and further you can sprint before you need to actually make the U-turn and start heading back to the house. There we are. Now we're at 3.18 and 21.32 out of 100. So that's 2 separate times now. You've been able to see I switched from endurance to strength, went a decent period of at least 4 minutes, running around with my bag equipped so I would level up strength, drop the bag, and it completely resets the skill leveling for endurance. Obviously, switching from strength to endurance leveling up your endurance a bit and switching back to strength, it'll reset the strength timer as well. And yeah, for this path, like I said, if you get any spawn that's in basically that general section, you'll want to come to this one. So you get Scav Island, or you get the little area where the one boss Sanitar and them can spawn at, like the cabins and stuff. You can come over here. This is the one spot I do remember my death here, because I would go over to here. I used to come over to here for the end of my sprint instead of behind the house, and I actually got seen by a scav and I just got insta head tapped. It was kind of crazy. So I stopped using this side and I'm more so focused over here now, where I'll end my sprint using the building as cover. And yeah, before you get out of your raid, you can go ahead and do some looting. I'll show you some of my favorite spots for this little section to do looting. Like, there's this house, obviously. Got some jackets. D battery, just gonna take that and put it back. Don't want it. Same for the alkali. We got here Marlboro. Drop that. Metal scissors, those might be worth something. I'll hang on to them. I'm not fully aware of the price on that. Anything on the bed? I usually find good gunpowders in this building. Like, I found a lot of green and red gunpowder here. Bulb. Bolts. Now, see, I don't have to worry about taking these and putting them back because I've already grabbed them before. So, like, the bulb, last time I grabbed it and put it back, it gave me 20 experience and then 7 for the other one. If I do it this time, nothing. Same for the D-bat, no XP. We've already grabbed the baby WD-40s. We'll take some ripstop. I think that's worth something. Ooh, AWL. More metal scissors. Alright. There is a big, like, military crate over here. One of the big green ones. You can get some pretty sick stuff out of those. I've gotten helmets, body armor, armored rigs, guns, all kinds of stuff. It's gonna be right over here by this green truck. There it is. This is, I don't know, these big green crates are some of my favorite things to loot. Probably just because I used to do a ton of scav runs, and it was so addicting trying to gear up as a scav. You know, you like find stuff like this, you're like, ooh, it'd be cool to get a level 5 armored rig or something as my scav and just shred up some PMCs. So I guess now I'll show you guys the path to lighthouse extract you'll take from this location. So right over here, it looks like you're gonna run out of bounds if you go this way. Don't worry, as long as you follow the path I show you here, you'll be fine. So you got this little water, you're gonna cut through here. Now, this is the transit, so you don't press the F key or you'll initiate the transit. You don't want to do that. That will keep all your stuff. I left my Santa bag behind. Hang on. Santa can't leave without his bag. That had half my loot in it. There we go. Yes, Santa needs his bag. It is most important to him. He can't survive without it. Alright. Back to the extract. Did you guys ever used to do, like, rig runs on reserve? You know, where you go, like, sewer manhole, no backpack extract? I used to do that stuff all the time when I did PvP. Like, when I first got into Tarkov, I would use an AVS rig with, literally shot to hell. That, like, the thing would have, like, one durability left on it, so people wouldn't want to loot it. And I would just fit whatever I could in my secure container and my rig. I would bring, like, a pistol with, like, 1 or 2 mags. Those were the days. Those were my early days in Tarkov. So yeah, right over here is going to be the extract, right by these rocks. Yep, there we go. The transit will take you with all your loot to the location you transit to. So, that's like a little fun side thing you can do if you feel up to it. I have no interest in that currently. Just going for the normal extract. Alright, and even though we got no kills, and we didn't do a ton of looting, we still got a normal raid where it's not a run-through. That's another important thing to these. You need to spend a long time in raid so it doesn't count as a run-through. Alright. Not too shabby. Obviously, I could have gotten a lot more points in my endurance that raid if I really focused in on it. I only got about half of what I could have, partially because I extracted early, and also because I'm just focusing on the tutorial for you guys. So I'm not really concerned about leveling up the skill myself. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully it helps you out, leveling up your strength and endurance. Feel free to try this out on other maps. Like, for example, if you just don't like Shoreline, like you despise that map, and you want to try a different one, you know, come up with your own route. I know Woods is a huge map. You could definitely do this there if you find a route that seems safe. You could maybe do something like this on Reserve. I can think of like a couple spots on Reserve that might work. You know, Interchange has that whole open outside area, so there's a lot of maps you could do some runs like this on to level up your strength and endurance. You just gotta make sure you have a route that's gonna be safe, where you're most likely not gonna be spotted by PMCs or scavs. And, yeah, if you were really in the mood to grind out your skills, you could just sell the stuff you got, and then load right back into a raid, get something to drink, get something to eat. That's what I used to do when I was grinding for max strength. I would just sit here, do this, put on some music I liked, and I would level up my skills for like a couple hours, maybe even a few hours. I don't know how long I would spend doing this. Well, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you would spend the time to watch my video all the way through. If you enjoyed, then you should check out my other content. I recently did a Tarkov strat roulette with my friend and my brother. That was pretty fun, and I'm planning to turn that into a series on the channel, so I'm going to be doing that going forward. There will be more videos of that. If you guys do watch that and you have ideas for it, you could actually leave comments of any strat roulette ideas that sound cool. I do a lot of other gaming content as well. I mostly do challenge runs and let's plays. I try to focus on uploading the type of content that I myself enjoy watching, with the hopes that you guys could come to my channel put on basically any video and have a good time. Just because I struggle, man. I struggle finding stuff to watch that keeps me entertained. And, like, there's only a very small amount of content creators I like to watch where I can basically put on anything they make and have a good time. And it upsets me some nights because I'll be trying to go to sleep and I'm just scrolling through YouTube thinking to myself, like, man, most of this just isn't good. Like, I'm just not interested. Well, I have been rambling for too long. I apologize. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for watching again. Hope you have a lovely rest of your night, and best of luck with the Tarkov.
I wanna see you again, see you again. I don't wanna pretend. Let's do it again, do it again. It's worse when you're not here. Let's turn the clock back on. Something we've done before. Time's ticking like it always do.